Welcome back to Honey Badger 3D Print and Paint. Today we're finally looking at the Ecto one, but before we do that, roll those credits and a word from our sponsors.
PCBWay are proud sponsors of the channel. They offer industry-leading 3D printing services covering all types of materials and processes. They also offer industry-leading online CNC machine services from milling, machining, and turning in all the materials you could possibly need. They also offer a fully online prototyping PCB service. Everything from assembly through to design, you can do it all online with an easy system to use for quality. So for all of your needs, check out PCBWay in the link in the video description.
Right, this has taken up so much of my life. It has taken so long. Granted, I've had to have rests in between and do other things. Warhammer, stuff like that, because it was just taking so long to do that I just had to have breaks, because I just wanted to smash it at some points. So first of all, we started with a car. We went to Photocentric. Photocentric printed the body parts for us. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts to this body. They printed those for us, brought them back. When you start this, if you're going to light it, you need to run all your wires for the lighting before you glue all the body parts together. So there's channels that run underneath, inside the body, that all the wiring goes through. Now, if you was to glue this all together, never in a million years are you going to feed that wire through from one end to the other. It's not going to happen. Also, because there was supports inside all them channels, so all them channels had to be cleaned out with supports first. Run all the wires through, so you had all the pieces separate but the wiring in them, then glue them all together, fix all the wires so they couldn't move. You've got your wiring done. You literally just crawled through my fart. So, once you've got all the body parts together, that's when you start sanding and filling and sanding, then do a bit more filling, then do a bit more sanding, and then just for a change, do a bit more filling, and then just to spice things up a bit, do a bit more sanding. Once you've been doing that for, I don't know, 12 years, you then finally move on to paint. So the paint used on this, I've got a car paint spray shop near me. I went there, so I got automotive white primer, automotive white and automotive top coat. It took quite a while to get this how I wanted it. Was wet and drying it in between stages as well. Finally got the body done. Once you've got the body done, it's only the start of the problems, because there is tons of parts in this model. You've got all the interior, most of it prints separate and has to go in. You've got all the glass. So that is an entire process. Really happy with how it come out. It's, it's clear. You can see through the glass and into the car. It works, but there was printing in clear, then wet and drying it, then putting it on a buffing machine to buff it, then clear gloss in it, and it works. We got it clear, very happy with how the glass went. Once you've got all the glass in, you've got all the paint done, because obviously there's a lot of chrome on this bodywork as well. So once all the white's done, it's then masking off loads of the car, spraying all the chrome. Then masking off a lot of the chrome to spray all the red. Loads of masking off. This is one of the reasons why this has took so incredibly long. As well as the body, you've then got the entire chassis, which has got all the working parts in it. On the chassis is the engine, which is complete. Now, in the original model, you should be able to drive the car along, turn the steering wheel in here, and turn the front wheels. This is so incredibly heavy that we can't do that because they are just printed parts on the suspension and the axles, and they literally can't cope with the strain of the weight of this vehicle. When I say this is heavy, it's ridiculously heavy. So in order to get the chassis to sit right and not just crush when the car's on it, I had to print blocks which fit underneath front and back axles and in the middle of the chassis, just so that it's got something solid to take all the pressure off of the axles and the wheels. Because without that, they were just crushing, basically, and snapping. So I had to support the chassis and the whole car by putting blocks underneath it at critical points, like jack stands, basically. But these jack stands don't actually take the wheels off the floor. There's literally 1/4 millimetre in between the floor and the tyre, which means all the weight is on them blocks and not on the wheels. So that came out really well. All I used was calibration cubes. Sized them to the size I needed them and used them. Now, once I got to the point where this was, getting there, I realised it's so heavy, you couldn't move it properly. On the chassis, you've got exhausts and everything like that. If you pick the car up from the side, you just broke all the exhaust pipes because of how much pressure you had to use to pick it up. And I felt like if you're picking it up front to back, eventually over time, what was the glue lines in the body parts, I just felt they were going to snap over time because of how heavy this was. So we came to plan B. Plan B was to print this huge base for it. Now this base is 1 metre long by 600 front to back. James designed this. Didn't take him very long. He put a cutout in there for a battery pack that and wiring that we've got underneath here. Show you why in a moment. It's 22 pieces this ended up being. He printed this on the Bamboo, the Creality K1, and I think maybe something else. Maybe the Quiddy, I think. But there's 22 pieces to this. He did it in about 5 days. Once we got this done, got it painted, realised this is not strong enough to pick up front to back. This will just snap as well. So then had to get a piece of 12mm plywood, cut out all the battery holes and everything like that, router in some handles so you can get your fingers underneath it, each side, and then mount the printed base onto the wooden base. So now, I dread to think how much this weighs now, but carrying this now is a 2-man job. Once the base was done, thought we could do with some more detail on it. So we stuck in some UV lights in the drain in the road and some UV lights in this lamp, which I found on Thingiverse. Printed it out, put some UV bulbs in this because it was hollow. We ran the wires all the way down inside here, and then used some UV paint to do some light green slime. On the back here, there is a switch, turns on the drain and the lamppost lights. With the lighting in the car, if you open the back door round this side, there's a battery pack in there. You can turn that on. That turns on the front and back lights. On the roof rack here, there's a little cover that comes off. Take that off. There's a switch there and a battery pack. Turn that on. That turns on the sirens. That's all the lighting. If you open the back door, you've actually got the gurney with all the proton packs on it. That slides in there. We have still got the Ghostbusters stickers to go on the front driver's doors and on the back door. They haven't arrived in time. They should be here in the next few days. They will be stuck on. That will just finish it off. When I was looking at this yesterday, just as I was loading it up, thought to myself, it needs something else. So we have the Ghostbusters model, I think it's from Gambody, which is the firehouse with the characters. So I have just taken the Apex Maker printer home. So when I get home, what's going on now is Ray and Peter, the two Ghostbusters, I'm going to print them out, paint them. They're going to go on the back of the diorama here, give it a bit more interest, so at least there'll be two Ghostbusters there as well. Now this is going to Photocentric. Where they're going to put it, I don't know, but it is going to Form Next in Germany, probably a few other shows around Europe that they go to, so it is being shipped around now. So if you go to any of the shows and Photocentric are there, and you see this, I did this. I also hate it now. Like I really want it to go. So we are delivering this in a week or so's time to Photocentric. We're going up there for the day, take this. Again, it's a 2-man job, so we both have to go. The car at the moment isn't glued onto the base. The reason for that is because if I do glue the car to the chassis and everything to the base and the car to the chassis, you can't get it in and out of doors. So the car has to come off at the moment. The lamppost comes off. You can carry the base sideways and get it through a door, set it up again, bring the car in, put it in. It is going to be glued into place. I'm going to glue it into place the morning I go to Photocentric. I'm going to put the base in the boot of my car, then glue the car and everything into place. Because once it's there, it's going through big doors all the time. Form Next, shows like that, Photocentric, they've got huge big shutters and it's not a problem for that to be done. But it is a problem for me to get it out of my workshop or through my house or out of the studio. So that's why it's not glued on at the moment. What I'm going to do now though is I'm going to do a few close-ups and also going to turn off all the lights so that you can see what it looks like when all the lights are on. Right, see when I do look at this and the lights are on, I do think, oh, it does look cool. It does look cool. I'm not massively in love with it, and that is only because of how long it has taken me to do. It became like a war of attrition in the end, getting this finished. But when I look at it and it's lit up like this, you do look at it and you think, it does look good. It does look good. So, let's do some close-ups. So, as you can see, this, I dread to think how many hours have gone into this. I really I couldn't put a number on it. I've been doing this for maybe 4 months on and off, and it's been a lot more on than it's been off. This is a Gambody model. The car is, anyway. Gambody models always go together really well. You know, they always have really precise instructional videos, which helps, shows you each part, what number it is that it's been printed. It does really help you when building something like this, because building something like this is a serious process, and with a video that shows you what goes where, that is a massive help. As I say, look out for this, because it is going to be going to shows. If you see it at a show, send me a picture, send it on the channel, email us, send a picture of where you've seen it and when. There's a few people who have been saying to me, if you get this back, I want it. So, you know, maybe someone will have it if it comes back to us. I don't know if it is coming back to us. I don't know if Photocentric want it for a few shows and then they don't, and we can have it back. If we do have it back, there's a few people who have made more than keen interest in wanting this, because, just to be clear, we have nowhere to put it. We literally have nowhere to put it. Where this is in my workshop at the moment is where I really need to put the Apex and the Mega, Frozen Mega. So until this goes back to Photocentric, I am jammed for space. Now, if you're going to do something like this, you've got to realise there is quite a high cost in doing this. Resin alone now, even though Photocentric printed most of the body, I easily used over 10 litres doing this. And then there was probably over a kilo used in the base. The lamppost, you know, that was over a 60-hour print, the lamppost, because it's one piece all the way up to the top piece. There's a lot of time and there's a lot of money involved in something like this. Luckily, it didn't cost us much, because Photocentric was sending us all their new resin, which is now called their Basics resin. It's available on their website. They've just released it. Most of this was done in that resin. Luckily, they just kept saying, how are you going? I'm getting a bit short on resin. They'd send us some more. We have done a video on their resin, so take a look at that. It's available on their website at the minute. It's $19.99 plus VAT per kilo. It prints very well. If you have a look at our video, you'll see some of the stuff we did in it as well as this, but obviously you can't see it now. This is painted. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching this video, which has taken up more than my life than I thought it was going to. Time I'm not going to get back, sanding. But don't forget to like and subscribe. Look out for our other videos. Thanks a lot. We'll see you later. Bye.